Hello and welcome to week 8 of the course EU Security and the Future of NATO. In the previous weeks, you explored NATO enlargement, EU-NATO cooperation, and the geopolitical implications of alliance expansion. This week, you will examine the issue of defense spending and burden sharing within NATO and the broader transatlantic alliance. Defense spending is a critical issue in international security because military capabilities depend on the financial resources that countries invest in their defense systems. Understanding this topic will help you analyze how economic resources, political commitments, and military capabilities interact within international security alliances. One of the most important debates within NATO concerns the issue of burden sharing. Burden sharing refers to how the costs and responsibilities of collective defense are distributed among member states. In 2014, NATO members agreed that each country should aim to spend at least 2% of its gross domestic product on defense. However, not all countries meet this target, which has generated debates about fairness, strategic responsibility, and alliance solidarity. As you examine this topic, you should analyze how defense spending influences the military effectiveness of NATO and how financial commitments shape political relationships within the alliance. This week introduces several key concepts that will help you analyze defense policy within NATO. The first concept is burden sharing, which refers to how military responsibilities and financial contributions are distributed among alliance members. You will also examine defense spending, which determines the resources available for maintaining military readiness and technological development. Another important concept is military capability, which refers to the operational capacity of armed forces, including personnel, equipment, and strategic infrastructure. As you review the course materials, you should reflect on how financial investment affects the effectiveness of collective defense alliances. During this week, you will complete several learning activities designed to help you analyze the relationship between defense spending and alliance effectiveness. First, you should review the lecture materials and assigned readings, which explain how NATO members allocate resources to defense and how these decisions influence military capabilities. Next, you will participate in the discussion forum, where you will analyze the political debates surrounding burden sharing within NATO. You will also complete a short self-assessment quiz, which will help you review the key concepts introduced in this week's module. Finally, you will complete a weekly analytical project, where you will evaluate the relationship between defense spending and strategic responsibility within the alliance. This week also includes an interactive analytical activity. In this activity, you will examine real defense spending data from NATO member states. You will analyze how different countries contribute to the alliance and consider the political and strategic implications of these contributions. As you complete the activity, you should reflect on how economic resources influence military power and how burden sharing affects cooperation within international alliances. In the discussion forum, you will analyze the following question. Should all NATO members be required to meet the 2% defense spending target? When writing your response, you should support your argument using examples from the readings, policy documents, or defense spending data introduced in this week's module. Your initial post should present a clear analytical perspective, and you should also respond constructively to at least 2 contributions from your classmates. The discussion forum will allow you to explore different perspectives on one of the most debated issues in contemporary alliance politics. At the end of the weekly module, you will complete a short quiz designed to help you review the key concepts introduced this week. The quiz will focus on topics such as the concept of burden sharing, NATO defense spending targets, the relationship between financial resources and military capabilities. Completing the quiz will help you reinforce your understanding before moving to the next module. Your weekly project will focus on analyzing the strategic implications of defense spending within NATO. You may choose the format that best demonstrates your understanding of the topic. For example, you may submit a policy analysis essay, a short video explanation, a podcast commentary, an infographic, or a narrated presentation. Regardless of the format you choose, your project should demonstrate critical analysis and engagement with the key concepts introduced this week. To guide your work, please consult the assessment rubric available in the course platform. The rubric explains how your project will be evaluated, focusing on conceptual understanding, analytical reasoning, use of evidence, clarity of communication. Using the rubric while preparing your project will help you produce a strong and well-structured submission. Week 8 provides an important opportunity to analyze how financial resources shape military capabilities and influence cooperation within international alliances. As you work through the materials this week, you should think critically about how defense spending affects the strategic balance within NATO and the broader transatlantic alliance. Your analysis this week will prepare you for the upcoming modules, where you will explore transatlantic relations, NATO crisis interventions, and the future of international security cooperation. I look forward to seeing your ideas in the discussion forum and your analytical projects in the weekly assignment. Good luck with your work this week.